Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've been waiting for. The first round of the Kenco Formula 1 Championship here at Albert Park in South Australia. Albert Park today is a fast and it's flowing. It's got 16 corners winding their way around the public roads of Melbourne, and it's alongside a golf course and a football stadium for those of you out there. It's relatively flat with notable opportunities for overtaking into the tight right-hander of turn 3 and then to the quick chicane of turns 11 and turn 12. Most of the eyes today will be on that Alfa Romeo team. With that lineup they have today, there is nothing that can go wrong for them. Now, after an absolutely amazing qualifying performance on Friday, Max Chapman puts himself on pole position. He's joined by the Haas of Alex Hughes. On the second row of the grid, there's Kasper Schmid, the compatriots teammate, and also Grizzler Titan in that Ferrari, outperforming his teammate by 3 positions. Kasper Knopp is in 5th, joined by Ian Hanmore in 6th in that Mercedes. Torben Schutt, as I said, following his teammate by 3 positions in that Ferrari. Thomas Salomon also out-qualified by his teammate. He is in 8th. Adam Forbes and Robbie Welsh in 9th and 10th, followed by Andre Abreu and Alex Rinser in 11th and 12th, pushing that grid. Joshua Marath in 13th and James Wilson in 14th in that Racing Point. Let's see what he can do from there. Joel Foxhall promoted to 15th after his shocking qualifying performance, and Jay joining him on 16th, and Ben with that 17th position because of the grid penalty that he got in qualifying, and originally going 12th, but that penalty pushing him 6th. He's joined by Archie Middlefelt in 18th, and on the last row of the grid is Dylan Hartley in 19th and Riley Harper in 20th. And what an interesting quali that was, and what an interesting race today will be. Today I'm joined in the commentary box by Sam. Hello, Sam. Sam? We do. So you join us on the formation lap of the Kenco Formula 1 Grand Prix 2020. Here goes, boys. Here's the start. Oh, we got people colliding on that formation lap. Unlucky. Everybody is on the... Oh, and Kenco has been disqualified, and so has Toma. Unfortunately, we're having some technical issues with the game audio. I think we may have just fixed it. There we go. Is it a bit loud? There we go. There we go. Sorry, folks. But, yes. Everybody starting on those wet Inter tyres.
What a race it's set to be. The track conditions right now as well, also contributing to that.
Sorry, folks. I don't know why you couldn't hear the desktop audio there, but Sam, you should be here.
Hello, can you hear me now?
I think they should be able to hear you, but not a great start. But here we have the formation lap. Everybody starting on those Inter tyres. Sam was just saying about how it's the obvious choice, obviously, with the standing water on that track.
Yes, definitely, and also like to say how much of a race we could be in with these conditions. Obviously, the rain in qualifying was proving to be difficult for some of the drivers, so hopefully that will contribute to great racing today as well.
Yeah, we do see that just need to notify everybody that the starting grid animation is wrong. One of our drivers has been demoted. They've had a 25 place grid penalty back down to 20th due to not participating. So just so you know, if anybody doesn't participate in the race, then they will get a grid penalty down to the back of that grid. As we do see the pole sitter, Mr. Max Chapman, entering that first line of that grid as we approach for the start of the Kenco Grand Prix 2020. All those cars are on that grid. The green flag at the back of the grid. We see the lights. as we get ready for the start of the Kenco Formula 1 Grand Prix 2020. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 5. It's lights out, and away we go. The Williams gets a very, very good start. The Williams of Andre, both the Alfa Romeos. Oh, and who is that? That's Titan going on. Oh, and this big collision at the back. There's a huge collision. There's been a massive pile-up. Both of the Racing Points taking their wing, and that's already a safety car, Sam. Safety car deployed into the first corner.
Yeah, that was to be expected. I mean, that was a pretty chaotic start, but considering the conditions, I mean, I understand. It looks like Max did keep his P1 as well as Casper and Alex.
Yeah, so note from race control, Rinser has got a 5-second time penalty, and so has Ben into that the first corner. Already a safety car, folks. If that doesn't say this league is interesting, I don't know what does.
Yeah, exactly, and it looks like Joel got an amazing start up in P11 from P15, I believe. So that is a great start to him.
We go on board with the hat of Hughes, of Alex Hughes. He doesn't have any damage, so he was lucky to stay, but all of those cars at the rear getting tangled in that first corner collision.
Yeah, definitely looks like the racing point of James Wilson has got severe front wing damage, so we might be expecting him to come in. But yeah, what a start that was. I mean, it was inevitable, let's be honest.
Also, the Ferrari of Titan we saw going wide onto the grass, actually helping him avoid that first corner crash.
Yeah, look, I thought he was going to spin all the way around and ruin his start completely, but it looks like he managed to get it through as Vatsim Pro. Looks like he's got a drive-through penalty.
That's going to be very hard for him. Obviously, already in 7th, he's going to be pushed down to the back of the grid and forced to do that drive-through within 3 laps. There's no way you can't avoid that. But Forbes in 5th already.
Yeah, that is a great start from Forbes. We saw some promise with him on Friday in qualifying, so that's great to see that he's been able to convert it in the race. But it looks like the cars at the rear with Ben, Mitchell, Archie, Middlefeld have all got severe front wing damage. Looks like they're all coming into the pits now to repair that.
Yeah, we've got P10 and P11 both getting 4 positions, but Harper 7 positions up on the first lap. Another
great start from another great driver. Yeah, that's really great to see.
So you can't... I don't know if he had his drive-through, I don't know if he'll be able to do that because during the safety car.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on the rules, but yeah, you could be right. But looks like we had about 9 cars having to go into the pits due to damage from that first turn incident. So that was obviously a very big incident that affected the majority of the drivers.
Yeah, luckily it's on lap 2 as well. They'll be on fresher inters as well. Their tyres won't be as hot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Only 1 lap advantage of these tyres, because obviously the top 10 start on the tyres they qualified on, but because of the wet weather they have a complete free choice now, so that tyre wear won't affect them, but they'll have a brand new set of tyres now to hopefully try and push forward into the field.
There's a very, very noisy round that the apex of turn 12, which I don't really think should be classed as a turn because it's more of a hairpin.
Yeah, definitely. There's lots of turns on this track that could be are easily flat for these drivers and these cars with so much downforce. So yeah,
we expect to see the safety car coming in at the end of the next lap. But the Mr. Wilson, I'm not sure quite what happened to him. Is he still chasing for the pack?
Yeah, that looks like he is still trying to get the back of the pack. Yeah, but yeah, looks like Casper in P3 has got some severe wing damage. I'm not sure if he's picked that up since the accident. Don't know if he's going to come into the pits now, but that looks like it's a very big chunk of damage. We'll have to see whether he's coming into the pits.
Yeah, he's in the pits.
Looks like he is.
Yeah, he's coming.
Looks like he will be coming to repair that front wing. That was quite a significant amount of damage.
Yeah, he had one of the end plates missing on the right-hand side, and then also the fins missing. But his pit crew aren't ready for him.
Yeah, it looked like they came out very late.
Very, very late there. So we do see that front wing get replaced. Oh, and he's got to serve his time penalty in the pits as well. I completely forgot that. Captain's got to serve his 5-second time penalty from the collision under that safety car in that pit. So that's going to give everybody above him a big advantage, as always the Red Bull just gonna stay behind him. So we do see Max down in P19 and Casper in P22 of the front runners as well, starting P3 and P4.
Yeah, definitely. It's a real shame for Casper. Obviously, qualified P3 on Friday, had some real strong pace, and he was telling us that he thought he could fight for the win. So it's a real shame for him, but I'm sure he'll be able to show more of that pace throughout the race and hopefully get back towards the front of the pack.
Who are you looking forward to seeing some race pace from, man, today?
Well, obviously, we've still got Max in P1 and Alex in P2, so obviously they've been able to keep on the positions they started in, but I think that fight for P1 could be very interesting. Max and Alex were very tightly matched in qualifying, so I think they have similar race pace also, but obviously this incident at the start of the race has really switched things up, so we could see Casper fight all the way from the back to the front, which would be really good to see.
Well, as you said, in qualifying they were quite tight, but that was in dry conditions, and I'm not sure if you remember, in the Q2 and Q3, Alex wasn't as fast as Max.
Yeah, that is correct. Alex put in a good lap in Q3, which obviously was the dry tyre run, but we have just been notified that the safety car will be in this lap.
Yeah, you do see the safety car lights extinguished, so upon reaching the safety car line, Mr. Max Chapman will back up the pack behind him, ready for a safety car restart. You do see him start to approach the limiter line, and he will slow down, making all of the cars behind him get in a organised fashion, let's hope. And as we go into turn 1, we should not see something like we did before. So, safety car is coming towards the pits as Max is slowing down, coming around the turn 15 into turn 16. The safety car is in, so the cars will now be resuming to racing speed. Oh, but Max is slowing them down, trying to get a good launch.
He's gone very late.
Very late. That's maybe going to throw some of the off at the back, and we are racing again at the Kenco Formula 1 Grand Prix, and there's already a yellow flag in Sector 1.
Yeah.
Not sure
what's happened there.
Yeah, not sure where that's from. But we've got Chapman in P1, followed by Hughes, and then Forbes in P3, with Hanmore in P4 in that Mercedes. But is Hughes going to try and move down the inside into turn 4? I think it's just slightly too wet for that.
Yeah, obviously these conditions are very tricky, and you're going to want to have even more braking distance with the wet track, so it's going to be tricky to gauge whether you should pull off the overtake or not.
And 4 cars in the pits on that lap, so what begs the question, why did they not pit the lap before?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened. Looks like the pack was sort of starting and stopping under the safety car, which is never good to see, and looks like Casper's had to pit again.
Yeah, it's going to put him even further back now, 43 seconds behind his teammate.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened under the safety car, but that's never good to see.
Now, the man I'm interested in is Jay in P5. He's gained what?
10 positions,
10 positions, yeah, 10 positions since the start of this race in that AlphaTauri.
That is really good to see. Obviously, one of the biggest gainers in the race so far, so that is obviously really good to see for Jay, and hopefully he'll be able to stay in that position and even go forward.
We see both Casper and we see both Caspers and Andre having to pit twice already. Yeah. As Hanmore comes into the pits, I'm not quite sure what that's for. I don't know if he sustained wing damage or any of that thought, as Max goes fastest.
That is unusual to see for Ian, because obviously you would expect to, looks like they are replacing the front wing, and also, he's also doing his time penalty by the looks of it. But it's unfortunate because you want to be changing tyres when the rain starts to stop, or in these sort of conditions you want to change the tyres when the rain starts to stop. You don't want to be having loads of pit stops before that's needed, so it's not good to see for Ian. Yeah,
his teammate losing a position to Harper there in that Robbie there in that Renault in P12.
Yeah, it looks like the field is a bit confused now what to do with all these pit stops coming early from the front runners.
Sorry to interrupt you, but O'Mara in the middle of the track, he's just lost it going through turn 4, and he's caused one of the Mercedes to go wide. He's caused Ben to go wide. What happened there?
I unfortunately didn't see that, but that's not good to see for Josh. He might have sustained some front wing damage.
That is unfortunate. I don't think he's got any damage as far as I can see. But there's a battle for ninth going on here between Archie and James.
Yeah, it looks like Archie's obviously got some really good pace here up to. Sorry, James got some really good pace, but yeah, that's unfortunate for Josh to have spun off there. But obviously, these conditions are still proving difficult for the drivers.
It's very, very interesting to see James come back to P9 from where he started back in P15, and then obviously first turn incident put him in P19 as well.
Yeah, definitely. And Joel up into P7, which is really good to see for him. Obviously, he was not happy with his qualifying performance, so it's great to see him up in P7.
The gap between Max and Casper has just got... Sorry, Max and Alex has just got even bigger, and he's pulling away with it now.
Yeah, he's obviously got some really good pace, which is not great for us, because obviously we want to be seeing as many battles as possible, but yeah.
But looks like there's going to be an overtake coming between Mitchell and O'Mara. Obviously, he's gone into the... I'm not sure, has he gone into the pits? No, he didn't sustain damage. So that's good news for that McLaren.
Yeah, that is good news for Josh. Obviously, you don't want to be sustaining damage, but yeah, hopefully he'll be able to get back into the points positions.
Hopefully. So as we do see two more pit stops from the Williams of Andre and the Renault of Middlefell. And as you can see here, number 14 McLaren, this is Casper not shooting inside. Oh, and he forces O'Mara to go wide, and there is the position for Casper Knopp, and he's already gained 4/10 out of that corner. You know, it just shows you how simple it is to make one mistake and you lose everything.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Casper is already fighting Ben in the Mercedes up ahead, so he's obviously got some really good pace, which is great for us to see, and unfortunate for him that he had to pit so early.
Here we've got Torben Schutz AI, Charlie, making a move on number 2's teammate, Mr. Salomon.
That's an interesting one to see.
Yeah,
they are.
very,
The AIs are very close.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in these wet conditions, there's a lot to get right. So Charlie Bot is going to be very interesting to see whether he'll be able to maintain that pace.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously I don't think anybody will want to be overtaken by the AI, so no doubt Salomon will be pushing as hard as he can.
Now at the moment it's very, very spacey, but we do go on board with Robinson trying to make a move on Forbes.
Looks like they've got very close. Jay's got lots of pace, which is really good to see. Forbes maybe struggling a little bit. Obviously we saw the sister car of Josh going wide through that turn 5 section there, so hopefully Jay will be able to get a good pass on him now.
Yeah, Jay's pushing him really hard, getting in that spray, not afraid to get right behind that car. Is he going to shoot a move down the inside? No, he's going to trying to go late on those brakes. Keep going, and we will go on board with Jay. So you could just really get from this perspective how hard it is to be in that spray of that car. But is he going to try? Oh, he's backed out. He's backed out. It's hard to go for a move through that chicane as he cuts a little bit of the corner, but Archie, I'm not sure what happened to Archie, Mr. Middlefell, in P19.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with him. He might have had to pit again with some damage from that under the safety car incident, so we don't know. But it looks like he's catching up to the Williams of Andre, so that will be good to keep him lookout on. Yeah,
2 pit stops for Middlefell in that Renault. His teammate in P10 with the fastest lap currently, on new intermediates by the looks of things, 29 seconds behind Chapman. The closest person is Alex Hughes. Clearly the pace is there for those two.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we want to be looking out for the fight between the 2 front runners. Obviously, Alex has got some pace in the wet, which we obviously didn't see in qualifying, but it's good to see for him.
Now as Jay comes into turn 3, he gets early on that power. Ooh, back end sliding a little bit, but he's clipped a little bit that sausage curb, Josh, so that's going to slow him down. Jay coming into turn 5. Is he going to get the top over O'Mara? Actually, sorry, no, over Forbes for P3.
Yeah, he has a good opportunity coming down through his turn 7 and 8. Coming up to turn 9, late on the braking potentially, but looks like he's a bit too far back.
Yeah, as Titan goes fastest.
They get very close.
Yeah, very close, but further back, Foxhall in P7 trying to overtake the Charlie bot in number 6.
Yeah, it would be great to see Joel overtake Charlie bot, which we would expect. But yeah, Joel obviously got some really good pace in the race, which is great for him because he obviously wasn't very happy with his qualifying performance. But
and he was stuck in last position this race as well after that first lap incident. I think the safety car helped him as well as being on those new tyres.
yeah, he might have been able to avoid all the kerfuffles happening under the safety car, which is obviously great for him. Obviously, other drivers had to pit because of that, but looks like he looks like he was going for a move down this inside in turn 15, but thought better of it.
Joel's back end is sliding all over. That normally connotes the weather is either too wet for the inters or too dry for the inters. But at the moment, as Charlie's bot tries to go and make a move and does get it down into turn 1, that puts Salomon down into 6th, and the next position for Joel should be to get that position back.
Yeah, it looks like Joel is very close to the Haas of Salomon, so he might be able to make a move down into turn 3. But yeah, the conditions are not getting easier, definitely getting more tricky. So we'll have to keep a look at whether inters are the best tire to be on.
Yeah, definitely, but it doesn't look like there's much standing water, so the tyres should be fine as Joel makes a move down the inside of Salomon, who goes wide, and that's an easy position there, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like that turn 5 is usually usually a very fast right-hander in the drive. It looks like that turn 5 is taking a lot of victims today with Josh
and the Renault goes down the inside of the other racing point. The Renault of Robbie going past Wilson for P9.
Yes, obviously began some great racing, which is great to see. The conditions not proving too difficult for these drivers to get some overtakes done, which is great.
Now the weather forecast doesn't look like it's going to change. It looks like it's going to remain wet for the rest of this race.
Yeah, that's obviously going to be playing on the driver's mind and what strategy they decide to continue on.
Especially with the pit stops as well. Are they going to try and go for more inters, or are they going to try and switch into those slicks as fast as we can? As on those old inters, Max sets the fastest lap, so those old inters will be wearing down to the slick-like base. So is that telling us that the driver should be going on to the slicks?
Yeah, it looks like towards turn 3 and 4 of the track is much drier than sort of turn 11, 12, that chicane there. But, I mean, Max has pulled out a 1.5 second gap now, so I'm not sure if Alex has been struggling, but yeah, Max has got some great pace.
We do go on board with Max. We'll just give you one lap of his onboard camera and just the raw pace that he's got around this track. You see, we're coming up to one of the most difficult turns on this track, turn 11, and the sheer pace that these drivers go through there, they pull so many Gs.
Yeah, it is incredible. Obviously not as fast in the wet, but even during the wet, it's probably even scarier for these guys. Just trying to push the limits as far as they can go. But yeah, that was very well done by Max, as he is sustaining that 1.5 second gap to Alex behind.
Yeah, there's 11 places gained for Robson with Jay, and 14 for Charlie Bot. So it's very difficult races. Casper Meach is losing some places. Has he spun out? I'm not too sure there.
What's happened there, but it looks like he has lost a lot of time to the car in front, so that may have potentially been a small mistake. Obviously going through that turn 5 section again, as go wide through turn 6, so maybe he's got some sort of damage as it does at the place. He's got his left end plate, which is a real shame for Casper. He's not having good luck today.
Yeah, there's 18 laps left for him to still be in this, and yes, he's lost a bit of his front left wing. His left end plate is missing, and some of the fins as well, so we're probably going to see another pit stop from him.
Yeah, that is a real shame for Casper. Obviously, he's had to pit 2 times already, which is obviously never great. But yeah, that damage looks like it's really bad for him, and he's going to have to pit.
Jay comes into the pits, and his teammate now, Hartley, puts himself in 7th. Now, is that a scheduled pit stop, or has he pitted because of his wing?
We shall have to see. I'll try and find out. Looks like it was a normal pit stop. Maybe the intermediate were getting a bit too ungrippy for his liking, so he came in for another pit.
Now, talk about opposite ends of the spectrum. We've got Forbes in P3 and Josh in P12. Sorry, P20.
Yeah, that is surprising. I mean, obviously, the McLaren of Forbes did qualify much higher than Josh, but yeah, it's great to see Forbes in P3.
And this
as
is
Jay gone down the inside of the Red Bull, but
definitely not where I expected to see Forbes. I think he's sort of the underdog here in the McLaren in P3.
Yeah, definitely, but he's been closely chased by Joel behind him, so we can expect a potential battle between these two as Joel is gaining on him.
Now we've
by about
seen
2/10 just through turn 12 alone.
one car pit already for a statutory pit stop. So, do you think that Forbes should pit for an undercut?
Yeah, that obviously is a good call. Joel looks like he's really gaining on Adam, so that could be a good call from the McLaren team, but we will have to see what he does now.
And oh, it looks like they may collide. Yes, there he is. He's going for the undercut. Forbes into the pit on the lap 12. So, Sam, just take me through one of Joel's laps.
Yeah, so obviously coming up to turn 1, he's having a little look behind there to see if there's anyone behind him, but he is now in P3, going through turn 1, obviously, trying to be as fast as possible. Coming up to turn 3, which is obviously a very tricky corner, quite slow speed, just trying to get a good exit as he locks the tyres slightly. Coming up to turn 4, trying to avoid the sausage curb on the exit because that can really unsettle the car as he does that nicely. Going through turn 5, almost flat, but still these conditions proving a bit too tricky for that. There's the yellow flag coming into sector 2. Turn 6, pretty similar to turn 4, usually a 4th gear corner in the dry. A little bit of oversteer there through turn 7 and turn 8. Coming up to turn 9, pretty simple corner. Brake just before the 50-meter board. It looks like one of the
one of Forbes' teammates has put himself in the wall.
Yes, obviously Josh is really struggling, but coming up to turn 11, as close to the wall as possible. Flick it into the left and to the right. Little cut there on the exit of turn 12 as he does nearly lose it, but caught it well.
Already approaching the back markers, Joel.
Yeah, that is obviously very impressive from Joel. I mean, for me, that is incredible. He's gained 11 positions, which is really good to see for him. Coming up to turn 15, it's a tricky corner, trying to get a good exit for turn 16 as he does lose quite a lot of time there, but doesn't look like he's going to react to the pit stop of Forbes, so he's going to go around again, which is interesting.
Hughes in the pits as well, also going for an undercut, and is he going to get out in front of Joel? Because he's got that inside line, he might be able to keep it, and he's just in front, but Joel has got more momentum, so he might try and send it round the outside into turn 3. The pace, he's already pulling away, like literally just coming out of the pit stops. Those new intermediates are just so much quicker than Foxhole.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Alex will be on slightly colder tyres than Joel's on, so that is obviously advantage to Joel, but it looks like Alex has been able to handle the situation well, and it's great to see that he's able to come back out in front of Joel with that fresh set of tyres.
Now we're seeing all of the cars starting to pit. All of the bottom 10 have already got one pit stop, I believe. Yep, everybody except Salaman, Schutz, Foxhole, and Chapman have pitted. So everybody on the grid except the top 4 have pitted.
Yeah, I expect we'll be able to see Max coming for a pit stop now, as he does look like he's gonna come in for his scheduled pit stop, his first one of the race, probably go on to a new set of intermediates. And we'll see, I would expect Joel to come in as well to react to the undercut of Forbes.
Alfa Romeo aren't normally the quickest at pit stops, but there's a double stack above them at Williams, so is that going to get in their way by any chance?
It may do, but whoever, the two Williams at real disadvantage, obviously one of them setting a time penalty, which is not good for the Williams having to stop behind him.
Not going to help them in P18 and P19, and Chapman gets a 2.8 second pit stop, so not slow, but not great.
Yeah, it's pretty average, but I mean, he's sustained his lead in the front, and it looks like he's got a pretty good advantage to Alex behind, so yeah, he'll be happy with that one.
Alex being stuck in traffic, perhaps on the exit of the pits might have really harmed him, but I don't understand where he's overcut him and managed to gain 4 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not sure if maybe Alex had a time penalty. We have to look into that one, but yeah, that was a great little strategy there from Max at the front.
And we'll go on board with Joel as the overcut seems to be the one to watch, because Joel has come out 5 seconds in front, 6 seconds in front of Forbes.
Yeah, obviously that overcut proving very powerful in Australia today, which is obviously massive advantage to Joel. With me, unfortunate for Forbes, obviously he was in P3 a lot earlier now and down in P11.
Looking for Hartley trying to make a move on Hanmore, the infamous Twitch streamer.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, no doubt. Looks like Dylan Hartley has a lot of pace, about half a second behind Ian in the Mercedes. So yeah, it'll be good to see maybe he'll be able to get one down into turn 9.
Now
late on the break.
both Ferrari power plants, the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari team, are battling it out for that fastest lap. It's been about 3 or 4 times back and forth between either Max or Grizzler or Casper.
Yeah, obviously there is a lot of pace from these drivers today. Unfortunate for Casper being sucked down in P16, but maybe he might be able to pull something off. And if there's a safety car, that's obviously a massive advantage to him.
Like you said, that overcut here is so powerful, and if it is going to be a two-stopper for some people, I mean, for instance, if we look at Chapman, if he pulls out enough of a lead on Alex, he might be able to pull 2 stops.
Yeah, definitely. That would obviously be a huge advantage to Max. It then could go on to try and set the fastest lap, but we'll have to wait and see how much pace Alex does have just behind him in P2.
As we see P4 and P5 both come into the pits, and P5 has to serve a time penalty of 5 seconds in the pits. That's going to really, really damage his time.
Yeah, definitely. As Joe is back up into P4, so that was a great strategy from him. Great call from the Racing Point team as he will be chasing down Charlie Bot.
It's a really, really, really big shame that Adam Forbes has been stuck in that McLaren in traffic. It's a really big shame, as he does try send one down the inside late on those brakes. Oh, but he doesn't want to go down the inside, unfortunately. I think he could have been a bit more aggressive there and could have got the position, but Casper not just defending well and getting that inside line.
Yeah, definitely doesn't want to be losing any time any more time than he needs to. Obviously, with Salomon just 3 seconds behind him, so no doubt he'll try and get that overtake done on Casper again in the Red Bull.
He's got some good pace. He's one of the, like we said, underdogs of this, but to go from P3 to P10 in one pit stop when everybody else should be also pitting is really, really surprising, as we said before, the Ferrari power plant of the Ferraris and the Alfa Romeos, Max sets the fastest lap, 1:34.2. That's 14 seconds quicker than what we saw in Q3.
Yeah, that we have seen that a lot in the in the league so far. But yeah, it's great for Max, obviously getting that extra championship point for the fastest lap, which he will no doubt love to have in his belt.
Casper down in P15. We said they were going to be strong, but what's gone on? That first lap incident killed him.
Yeah, well, according to my time, he's had 3 pit stops so far, which is 2 more than the front runners. So he's obviously had a bit of a shocker the first race, which is not good for him or for us, because he had some really good pace and they would no doubt be fighting for the win.
Charlie's Bot comes into the pits, which promotes P4 through P7 up 1 place, and Casper also gets round the Red Bull. But has he got the place back? He has into that corner, just going down the inside, doing what Adam couldn't. But Max pulling out every lap, like a second each lap on Alex. It's a bit ridiculous, as Hartley looks like he's going to eye up a move on Hanmore.
Yeah, this could be the one going down into turn 9 here. He had a little look, but just a bit too far back by the looks of it.
You don't want to be stuck side by side, as the Renault of Robbie goes side by side with Rob. No, side by side through turn 11 and turn 12, and Robbie is forced to cut the corner. I wonder if he'll get a time penalty for that.
Yeah, no doubt the Shields will look into that one, but yeah, it's great racing.
Looks like he may have been forced wide by the AlphaTauri though.
Yeah, no doubt the stewards will be looking at that one very closely. But yeah, the AlphaTauris have obviously had some great pace today, and the AlphaTauri of Dylan Hartley looks like he may be going for Kenco on the start-finish straight going down into turn 1.
Yeah, 4 and 7 for the AlphaTauri boys after starting 15th and 17th.
Yeah, Dylan will be promoted to P6 now with Kenco coming into the pits. Not too sure why that one was for. I believe he has pitted already, so yeah, looks like he has a time penalty to take.
Yeah, well, you can serve your time penalty at the end of the race if you cannot take it. So
yeah, maybe I'll ask him about that one after the race.
Really good battle between 4 and 5 as Robertson goes down the inside. Is he going to take the outside line? Oh, really, really good defending there from Robbie.
Yeah, definitely. And Jay's teammate behind Dylan, also you can see that battle right up ahead, is going to be wanting to join in on that one as soon as possible.
Interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. Now, Alex is 3.5 seconds, just gained 5/10 on Max. So probably is it to do with tyres? And Oh, but he's losing time. Has he had a spin? Has he slowed down? He's just lost 4 seconds to Max.
I'm not too sure what's happening with Matt. Looks like on my screen he's going okay at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on it as does look like he's trying to pull away again. But yeah, maybe Max had a little mistake coming out of turn 16.
Now, battle for 12. We've got 3 cars lined up. We've got Archie, we've got Rinser, and we've got Titan, all looking for that P12 position. There's only 1 second separates all 3 of them, and down into turn 11 and the 12 may be the place to do it.
Yeah, potentially. Obviously, it's going to be a tricky one going into turn 11. But yeah, that would be a great overtake to see if that is possible. And the Red Bull of Rinse will no doubt be trying to do that.
Very, very tricky corner, turn 11, because you've got to get on the inside, but you don't want to be too wide. As the Red Bull comes close to it, it's a very, very big shame that it's wet, because we can't see the DRS lap in action. It would have been very, very beneficial towards the Red Bull and that Ferrari right then, because they probably would have passed that Renault.
Yeah, definitely. And interesting, behind the Ferrari of Chrysler, Casper is catching up in his Alfa Romeo, so could see some great overtake.
And we have a retirement. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but the virtual safety car is deployed because one of the Williams has gone out in Sector 1.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's happened there, but it looks like Josh was going slowly. I'm not too the Josh and McLaren was going slowly. I'm not too sure if he was involved.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, it looks like coming through turn 5. He's just clipped the wet curb on the exit, and he's gone into the wall and lost his wheel.
So, yeah, I'm surprised it will only be a virtual safety car, to be honest with you.
What does that mean for Middelfeld then? Because he's just had a pit under that virtual safety car.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge advantage for him. Obviously, everyone on the track having to go much slower because of this virtual safety car, but he can still go get his free pit stop.
And side-by-side racing there from Robson and Knopp in the AlphaTauri and the sister Red Bull. I think they may have touched through turn 11, and the AlphaTauri has come out on top in P5, so it's an AlphaTauri sandwich with Red Bull in the middle.
Yeah, no doubt. The AlphaTauri of Hartley will also be looking to get the big brother Red Bull team, so it would be interesting to see. It looks like Casper does have a bit of a slide coming out of turn 16.
Could we expect to see any sort of team orders from the AlphaTauri team? Maybe Jay holding up Casper as Dylan eyes up a move, but decides, no, I'm not going to try that after what happened at turn 1 in the first lap.
Yeah, potentially, obviously, that's a good strategy, but Jay does have his own race to run, and he's only about 2.5 seconds behind the Renault of Robbie, so don't think Jay will want to be held up any more than he needs to be.
If the overtake is going to happen anywhere, it was there into turn 3, and the gap has widened, with the gap between Hartley and Robertson now being 1.5 seconds, so Hartley had a bad exit out of turn 4.
Yeah, obviously these conditions haven't got any easier for the drivers, so yeah, that's inevitable to see, unfortunately.
Everybody on the track except these 3 are spaced out. Everybody's still on those inter tyres. Nobody's risked it yet, and I think for good reason, because that track looks still drenched to me.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's ready for slicks by any stretch of the imagination, but it looks like the lower positions of turn 13, Casper's got a move done on the printer.
Casper tries to go down the inside of the AlphaTauri, but in doing so has exceeded track limits and possibly brought himself a warning to his name. And it's lap 20 of 29. There's 9 laps to go. Not many left for Casper to get in front of this AlphaTauri.
No, it's going to be a tricky one, but it's very close at the moment. We'll have to see what happens. See if any mistakes are being made. The
AlphaTauri of Robson goes into the pits, promoting Casper to P4. He's going to have clean air now. What does that mean for him? Is he going to catch up to Robbie in P3?
Yeah, potentially. Casper looks like he's got some great pace. I'm surprised that Jay's come in for another pit stop. Maybe the tyres are really wearing off, but I am surprised to see that. Looks like he was running well in P4, but that is a shame for Jay if it was a unscheduled pit stop.
Remember what we did say about that 2-stop? It could be very, very beneficial in terms of late race. These inters are going to be like slicks around here. The tyre temperatures are going to be very warm. They're going to be skidding all over the place. So maybe that might be a team tactical decision or strategy in case the weather conditions do get a little bit drier.
Yeah, that also could be the answer to my question, but looks like Dylan Hartley and the other AlphaTauri is still very close to Casper and will be eyeing up that move, no doubt.
And more coming out of the pits now. In P, it's going to look like he's going to keep P14, so we've already got lapped cars, especially um, with the McLarens. Forbes in P0, P0, P10 is being chased by Max Chapman in the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, unfortunately, looks like Josh has had a bit of a tricky race. Had to pit quite a few times and had a few spins, so it looks like he's been struggling out there today.
Number 4 on that car for, number 14 on that car for Mr. Forbes. So, almost like the ex-driver for McLaren, Mr. Lando Norris, with 4 on the car. So, wonder if that's some sort of connotations, if they're friends or if they're driving style matches. He does have to get out the way for the blue flag of Chapman coming down the inside. The one thing you don't want if you're approaching back markers is for them to not get out this way and slow you down, because then that just means that you don't have enough pace to keep the separation from P2. But it also means that you're stuck in traffic as well.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, the lap drivers also will lose a lot of time when they have to let these front runners through, but it's got to be done, unfortunately, for them.
Now, will Foxhall eye up a move on the Ferrari of Charlie Bott?
Well, I think Joel's had an amazing race so far, so I'm sure we will be seeing a move very soon as they go through turn 6.
Now, for me, it looks like those inters just don't have enough grip. The water's pooling everywhere, the rain's getting worse, so would it be wise for somebody to go for a safety stop and go for new inters, or, as Joel does lock up, that's not going to help those inters. They're going to be slick, they're going to wear down, they're going to delaminate, and they're going to need new tyres. But like I was saying, is it smart for people to do a 2-stop, go for a second stop, or try and wait in case it goes to wet weather? As this through turn 11 and 12, look at this, that is extraordinary.
Yeah, definitely. It's a tricky one. Obviously, lap 22 of the race now. It's going to be hard for the driver to tell whether it's more beneficial to pit or to stay out. So yeah, it's just a fine margin at the moment.
Now, we don't have any drivers on those wet tyres, but will we start to see people coming in very, very soon? I believe we will.
Yeah, I think it's definitely approaching that point now. Obviously, the rain looks like it's getting even worse. So yeah, we could potentially see a driver come in for the wet tyres and get some superb pace, but we'll have to wait and see.
And there's just no pace for Joel down the straight. He's using overtake, but he just can't catch up to the Charlie Ferrari.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the Ferrari engine proving to be very quick again. But obviously, going through turn 3 looks like he was very close. But yeah, again on the straights, Charlie Boy's got some very good pace. Maybe going for a more low down.
Joel
setup.
locking up again, no grip through the corner. Oh, and Charlie getting in his way. I mean, that I don't know about that one. That to me says there's not enough grip on those tyres.
Yeah, obviously they're both struggling quite badly by the looks of it. But yeah, that coming out of turn 3 looks like Charlie was really struggling with the back end. So yeah, so some great opportunities for Joel.
P1 has not pitted for the wets, neither has P2. P3, 50 seconds behind. We can't see whether he will be in the pits, but the conditions are significantly better now through turn 11 and turn 12, so maybe the decision to stay on those inters was a good choice.
Yeah, it looks like the Ferrari Grizzlers had a spin coming out of turn 1 as well. There was a brief period of a yellow flag in sector 1, but looks like he's back racing again back in P13.
Yeah, as Alex does approach the back markers and go through them as well. And the Williams of Andre, if you do not remember earlier, in Sector 1, he just clipped a bit of the wet curb and sent him flying and went straight to the wall, and that's why there's only 19 runners in this race. All of the drivers locking up into the tight braking points. So that to me says, again, either tyres are too old or it's not the right tyre for the job.
Yeah, as I said earlier, it's very tricky for the team to the drivers to tell, but yeah, we've seen a few incidents now, and yeah, the conditions are really tricky for these guys out there, as Alex looks like he's approaching P19 of Josh as a back marker, but the blue flags are out for him.
Yeah, and the AlphaTauri of Robson comes in to the pits, so will this be the first person going onto the wet tyres, do you reckon?
This will be interesting to watch. I'll keep an eye on you, but it looks like Joel has got past the Ferrari of Charlie Bott.
It's green marked intermediate tyres going onto the AlphaTauri and a new front wing as well, so that's going to push Jay back down into possibly 16th place, maybe 15th.
Yeah, it's a real shame for Jay. He was in P4 only 10 laps or so ago. Not too sure what's happened to his race, but yeah, obviously he sustained some wing damage and came into the pits to fix that.
I'm not sure what's gone on here, but Hartley is 55 seconds behind P4, so huge gap beginning to form, especially with the 38 gap that's already there in P3.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there, but yeah, maybe he's had a spin. We'll have to look into that one. But yeah, that's a massive gap. But Joel in P6 got past Charlie successfully, so no doubt will be aiming to get that AlphaTauri of Hartley. But he is about 6 seconds behind, and we have about 5 laps of the race left. So that's quite a task. But we'll have to see if Joel's up for it.
Yeah, and then we've also got in the points we've got 2 Alfa Romeos, we've got 2 Hasses, we've only got 1 of the Renaults, one of the racing points, 1 of the Red Bulls, and 1 of the AlphaTauris, alongside the sole McLaren of Forbes, 12 seconds behind P8.
Yeah, and it's great to see that Casper's back in the points in P10, and he's very close to the McLaren of Forbes. So obviously, as we said earlier, Casper has had some great pace in the wet. So maybe he'll be able to get a move done on Forbes going into turn 1. Looks like he's a bit too far behind. But yeah, great to see Casper back in the points in P10.
Yeah, especially considering that they're one of two teams that have both of their drivers in the points. So it's looking great for Alfa Romeo and great for Haas.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Alfa Romeo P1 and P10. Casper, no doubt in his mind, knows that he could have fought for that win, but obviously some unfortunate circumstances occurred for him. So to be back in the points is a great achievement for him.
Lovely. Very interesting, actually, to see that everybody outside the points, except one, has had 3 or more pit stops. So it just tells you the strategy in this race is a lot more than people think, especially in the wet conditions.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the turn 1 incident will no doubt be the cause of many of those pit stops, but obviously under the safety car as well, lots of front wing damage. So yeah, unfortunate for those the back markers of the race today.
Now, I'm going to go silent for a second, I think Sam will as well, and we'll show you 1 lap of this Alfa Romeo of Max Chapman and the sheer pace that he has. And as he crosses the line, just what an absolutely wonderful sound that car makes.
Yeah, definitely the Ferrari engine, a great sound as usual. But during his amazing lap, Casper's teammate got up into P9, passing the McLaren of Forbes, which is obviously another great achievement for the Alfa Romeo team.
It's an absolutely amazing sound, these F1 cars. Unfortunately, we still don't have the sounds of the V10s and the V12s, but I think this is just as good.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the modern sound of Formula One.
Definitely the modern rendition, as you were. But everyone below P6 now is a minute behind Max Chapman in P1.
Yeah, definitely. And not too sure what's happened between Alex and Max, but it's either Max has pulled out
Oh,
a
and
massive margin.
sorry to interrupt you, but
No, please
one
go on.
of the looks like one of them McLarens has just lost it. I'm not sure where. We'll try and go on board with some cars and see if we can find this. But yeah, yellow flag through sector 3.
Yeah, I believe it's coming out the exit of turn 4, but he's right on the racing line, so I'm surprised there hasn't been a safety car. But it looks like that has been cleared in remarkable time. But yeah, that was a fatal accident, not fatal. That was a terrible accident for Josh.
And Max comes round turn 16 onto the pit straight, and he starts the penultimate lap of this race. 35 seconds in front of P2. I think you're right there. I don't know if it was a safety stop from Alex and the Haas team, or whether he just lost it, but he does still seem to be intact.
Yeah, it looks like he hasn't got any more damage. But yeah, obviously some amazing pace from Max today in that Alfa Romeo. But still, two more laps to go.
And the Ferrari looking to get into the points over the teammate of the recently DNF'd Josh. We've got Adam, who I think is going to be very, very surprised or very, very saddened by the fact that he's in P10 rather than, he was in P3 at this point in the race, and he was really, really, really pushing forward, and he was looking for that podium, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the overcut of Joel has put him up into P6, and yeah, what a shame for Forbes, running so well at the start of this race. But yeah, that overcut for Joel was huge.
You on the penultimate lap, setting the fastest lap as well. So, is that going to force Chapman to go quick on his final lap, or maybe maybe try and get Casper, who is now in the points, to be able to just push forward and try and go for that?
Yeah, what a great thing would be to see Max set the new fastest lap on the final lap. That would be great to see for us.
And Max, as he rounds the corner of turn 16, he gets on that power as soon as he can, straight down the pit straight as we start the final lap of the Kenco Formula 1 Season 1 Round 1 Championship.
Yeah, Max, what a great race it's been for him. It would be great to see him to set the fastest lap on the final lap. We'll have to keep you updated on that one. But yeah, some amazing pace today.
Remember, all of you at home can vote for your driver of the day. Exclamation mark vote in the chat. Exclamation mark vote in the chat. You'll get straight to the list and you can vote for your driver of the day. So do get on that, folks. We are on the final lap, and we'll be reading that out after the race alongside some of the driver interviews that we'll be doing. And again, Hughes, second fastest lap. 134 point flat.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Max has still got the fastest Sector 1 and Sector 2, with Alex having the fastest Sector 3. So obviously that Sector 3 proving to be the crucial point of the lap, getting him that fastest lap. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see whether Max can beat that.
And Max is coming through the chicane of turn 11 and turn 12. There's 4 turns to go for him in this race. Is he going to maintain this lead, or is he going to lose it through turn 14? We don't know. Anything can happen in Formula 1. As he comes through turn 14, he looks like he's kept control of that car. The stellar job he has done today is absolutely remarkable, and the power of the Alfa Romeo power unit has been amazing. He comes around turn 16, and as he comes towards the line, he is the first champion of the Kenco Formula 1 2020 Championship.
What a great race it's been for Max. I mean, some stellar pace today, and looks like he doesn't get the fastest lap, but I mean, well, what a great first race and our first winner of the 2021 league.
And Ian getting a 10-second time penalty. I'm not too sure what for, but it does seem that he's got one.
Yeah, I have to look at that one after the race, but not too sure if you caught it on the stream. But unfortunately, it looks like Joel had a spin, losing a position right at the last second, which is a real shame for Joel.
Unfortunately, that is just the way the cookie crumbles in Formula 1. And Alex Hughes, another fastest lap on that last lap, 1:33. My goodness. And what a race this has been. I mean, as the drivers round it in for the end of this race, we've got very, very, very interesting final grid. We got Max Chapman in P1, Alex Hughes in P2, and the rest of this race has been decided by fate, I believe. I think that, there's nothing much that could have gone. Like, everything that did happen happened for a reason, and it was great to see these cars in action.
Yeah, definitely. Some great racing today, and obviously some unfortunately situations for some drivers. But yeah, a great stellar win from Max P1 from lap 1 to lap 29. What a great race it's been for him.
It was all the way through as well. There was never in doubt that Max was going to lose that race.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he had that in his pocket the whole race, and he was very confident with it. So yeah, great race from Max today, and obviously great race from Alex as well in P2. It was great to see for him, and he'll be no doubt a little annoyed that he couldn't push for P2, and obviously P3 Riley in the Renault. Oh, sorry, Robbie in the Renault. That was great to see.
Yeah, as the drivers passed the checker flag for the second time, I think Max Chapman might be ecstatic with that result. For me, that is a great race, and it'd be good to see who you guys' driver of the day is. So be sure to vote for that, and after the interviews, we will see who you voted for, and we'll try and get an interview with that race winner, Max. So we'll go and try and talk to him very, very soon. Thank you, everybody who has tuned in so far. Do not go anywhere, folks, because we've still got the interviews to go, and you've still got to find out who you have voted for in this race for your driver of the day.
Yes, what a race that's been, and we are joined by the race winner now of Max.
Max, hello.
Hello.
Beautiful, great stuff today, mate.
Yeah, I had a really, really good race. I mean, first few laps I was extremely struggling with grip, but yeah, other than that, the car felt really good. Nothing wrong.
Very nice stuff from you, mate. So, how is this gonna affect your team going forward?
I think it will affect us. Yeah, it will affect us massively because Casper had a bit of a struggle today, after being hit under the safety car. But I mean, the points that I've just collected today will help us for the constructors.
I think, if I'm right in saying, you are one of only 2 teams who finished in the top, who both drivers finished in the top 10.
Yeah, that's good for us. The more points, the better, really.
25 points for you, sir.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that.
How do you feel about the Haas of Alpha Shotgun taking your fastest lap on the second to last lap?
I don't really mind. I mean, I could have pushed at the end to have another fastest lap, but I didn't really want to wreck my race and not finish first, so I'm not really annoyed about that 1 point.
At what point did you know you had it in control?
After he got his penalties, really. I knew that mine and his pace were quite similar, so I knew I just could control the race with my fuel mixture.
Very nice. Well, congratulations, and don't enjoy the champagne too much.
Thank you.
There you have Max Chapman, the race winner. We go try and talk to some of the one of the people who actually DNF'd that race. So we'll go and try and talk to either Josh or Andre. If you could bring me that down, Sam.
Yeah, I'll go and find them in the paddock.
It's going to be a very, very interesting thing. But today, we have voted for the driver of the day. Who have you voted for driver of the day? Now, I would like to know. Who do you think you voted for driver of the day? Put it down in chat. Who do you think is your driver of the day? Thank you to everyone who's tuned in, by the way. Robbie thinks it's himself. So we do have confirmation that today's driver of the day is Joel Foxall with a stellar 30% lead over the rest of the competition. Congratulations to Joel. We'll go and try and talk to him later on in the chat, but very well done to him, and I think that was deserved, obviously, coming back from last.
Yeah, definitely. That was a well-deserved drive of the day from Joe, and we are now joined by the unfortunate DNF driver of Josh.
Josh, mate, what happened? You were doing well to start off with, and you just went back to the back of the grid.
Honestly, no words. It was obviously the rain just really put me off. The good start, fortunately hit into James at the start. Cold breaks, but yeah, that made me spin out a bit. Had a few pit stops as well, about 5, and yeah, that really put me down to the charts.
Your teammate P3 for about 12 laps of that race.
Yeah, Adam did really good there. He got us in the points, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, he did that really well.
Yeah, your
Did
teammate
McLaren really well.
Your teammate did finish 10th, so you got 1 point for that.
We'll take any points we can.
Yeah, so tell us about your thoughts going through that incident.
Apparently the game tapping the wall breaks your whole wheel. But yeah, it's I tapped the curb, and I turned to avoid it, and just spun over the rain, just hit the barrier.
Okay, I've got to ask you one thing.
Sure.
Did the wet conditions affect your race? Do you think you would have got qualified better if you were in the dries?
Oh, 1000%. Yeah. I mean, it's hard driving in the rain. See, most of the time I've just been practicing in the dry. Didn't not expect wet at all. So yeah, that was a really interesting one anyway.
And what did you think to the first turn incident? Were you involved at all?
I tapped someone. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was James. Cold breaks at the start, obviously. But yeah, I don't think I involved in anything else. But yeah, it was interesting.
Commiserations, Joss. Hopefully the McLaren team can go and fight for it next week.
Yeah, I mean, I've been practicing a lot for Bahrain as well, so has Adam. Hopefully good results next time.
Right, thank you very much, Josh.
Cheers, yep.
And I think the final interview we'll do is with our driver of the day winner. If we can get Joel in the commentary box. Joel, how do you feel about the fans voting for you as driver of the day?
I'm more than happy. Obviously, I had a race that I could have done so much further. I was in P3 at the time, and due to the VSC ending, I had a penalty which I feel was very undeserved. I was going through the fast chicane, staying green as safe as I can, and obviously I must have just gone red, or I thought I was very safe, but I couldn't be happy, and everyone that voted, I'd like to thanks to everyone. That really means a lot. And finishing P8 with a puncture at the end, I'm happy with that. It sets the tone. P15 to P8. Obviously, I could have finished best position, but I'm more than happy with the result from today.
A very competitive driver of the day today. You only won with 30% of the votes, which is third.
That is just that's quite something, and for people to vote for me, it just means a lot. Like I feel like I did well. I did a lot of practice from before today in the wet, on the assumption it would be a wet race, and yeah, I'm very happy that work's paid off, and that just shows that the more work you do, the best you'll achieve.
I think from the commentary box, we were all really rooting from you, coming from P15. Obviously, you got promoted because of the grid penalty. Did that help you at all, especially with that first lap incident? We did see you get involved in that.
I think every position matters, and I think P16, if I started there, I don't know where I would have been, whether I would have got tangled in that or not. All I remember from that turn one incident was, unfortunately, James, my teammate, being shunted in the back, which spun him around, which gave James, unfortunately, not a great race for him from the rest. But I think I just managed to avoid any damage that I could have had. I definitely tapped someone, but then again, I took no damage from that, and I just kept going. There was a lot of confusion with safety car as well. I got a 5-second penalty for overtaking a crashed car, so that was very unfortunate to see. That lost me 5 seconds in a pit stop, but yeah, I think P15 starting there definitely helped me with my finishing position.
And then I'm just going to ask you something, 1 to 1 on a scale. P8, is it where you wanted to finish? Are you happy with P8?
If I'm being honest, I'd say no. I had that puncture which dropped me a few positions, and obviously penalties which I really think were not deserved. Obviously one from something I couldn't help anything from a crash car overtaken, but I feel I could have definitely squeezed myself top 5 if not a podium. But I'm more than happy with P8 and driver of the day as well. It means a lot from everyone that voted.
Well, thank you very much, and congratulations on the driver of the day. So, boys, that's going to be it for the first race of the Kenco Formula 1 Championship. But before you go, we do have a word from the leader, as it were, Mr. Kenco, and we'll drag him in just a second. But Sam, any words you have to say for the lovely people watching at home?
Well, I just think it's been a great race. It's been great to commentate for you guys today, and I really do hope you enjoyed it.
Same goes from me. I think it's very nice to see all of you in the chat. And just before we do go, we'll have one last message from Kenco himself.
Yeah, hello guys, welcome. Thank you again so much to both of you, Sam and Callum. You've done a smashing job. I tried to watch as much as I could, obviously I was racing. But yeah, honestly, massive GGs to all the racers, everyone who watched as well. It's obviously a good sort of test for everybody. This is obviously something we don't normally do. But hopefully, obviously, a bit of feedback would be great if you just DM sort of any of us on what we can improve on. And obviously, we still have like 20 races, I think it is, remaining of the season. We've got quali every Friday at 7:30, and what is it? Races on Sunday every day at 8 p.m. Fridays and then 7:30 on Sundays. Yeah, if you just spam the chat with GGs, and yeah, obviously the flight sim streams will still carry on my side, but this will be the sort of the focused F1 channel. But yeah, just a general, GGs to you two guys. It's not easy to just sort of be up here for an entire hour commentating a race, but hopefully you enjoyed yourselves.
If we could get thank yous in the chat for Ian for organising all of this as well, because if it wasn't for him, this would not happen, and if it wasn't for him, none of this stuff would have gone ahead. We wouldn't know each other, so thank you to Ian as well in the chat. So everybody, GGs for Ian, GGs for all of the races, and we'll see you next Friday for Bahrain qualifying. See you later, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.